Welcome to My Wild Magic with me, your host, Adrienne Cobb. Join me on a journey back home to your truest self in this inspiring, enlightening, and entertaining show. After a near-death experience in a car crash at 15 years old, I made a choice to stay and brought back with me 3 simple truths that I found from the other side. Love is all there is. Our time is over here quicker than we think, and we all have a purpose, a soul blueprint to fulfill. On this show, you will find a higher purpose, a creative expression, and unique soul attributes that you can bring forth into this world. Stay tuned with me for the next hour and find your higher purpose on My Wild Magic, starting now. Welcome, everyone. I am Adrienne Cobb, and you are listening to My Wild Magic with Adrienne. So today in our show, we're going to be working with Archangel Chamuel, and that's the Archangel of Divine Love, that pink flame divine love that resonates through the heart. So with the chakras, what happens is all the chakras resonate to the Eastern Indian system, which most people know, which is the crown chakra is like a violet, then the 6th chakra is indigo, throat is the blue flame, heart is green, solar plexus is yellow, navel is orange, and the base chakra at the perineum is red. So it's a very accurate system, and it does work with our body mechanisms and things like that. But there is a secondary system that works in the chakras, and those are the rays of creation. So each of those rays come in, and they are backed by an archangel, an ascended master, and an Elohim angel. And so that ray kind of comes down kind of into our crown chakra, into the chakra itself, and then it flows outward into creation. And as a human being, that's really how we're manifesting and etherealizing energy. So today what we're working on, because it's February, we're dealing with Valentine's and just a lot of love being generated on the planet, not only because of Valentine's, but also because there is a download of higher cosmic frequencies coming onto the planet, a lot of Pleiadian energy that is purposely generating a momentum of heart expansion right now. And so you might feel a little more tired whenever these cosmic downloads and transmissions of light come in. You can feel a little bit more tired, a little bit more spacey when that happens. It feels like it'll probably be resonating for yet another week or two. And it just happens to be correlating with Valentine's, which again, it's where a lot of the planet has a lot of heart issues. Whether you like Valentine's or don't, it's going to bring up some of those issues. So we're going to go ahead and call forth then Archangel Chamuel. That's C-H-A-M as in Mary, U-E-L, Archangel Chamuel. Sometimes it's also pronounced or spelled Chamuel with a K, H-A-M-U-E-L. And it's one of the 7 basic, one of the 7 archangels, major archangels. And that archangel governs the beauty of the heart chakra. And it is a pink flame array that comes in. So we're going to go ahead and open up today's call right up front with angelic guidance, angelic message energy. So breathing in and calling into Archangel Chamuel, overlighting us. And you may feel this angel start to come closer into your energy field. Calling in the angels of divine love that are in service with this flame. Coming in, blessing your heart, blessing us as we move through this whole podcast, whether you're listening now or later. Coming in and just opening your heart, clearing your heart center. Calling forth that source energy of pure love and light, streaming down directly from that portal of light of source energy all the way through the crown chakra into your heart center. Just breathing in and out and just noticing your heart as you just begin breathing into your heart and out of your heart like a rhythmic breath. I'm breathing in to the count of 5 and then breathing out to the count of 5. And what we're doing is we're just manually kind of opening up the heart center. That also connects, the heart also connects more directly to the soul body as well. So I'm breathing in and I'm breathing out. Then we're going to go into, I'm breathing into the flame of divine love, the pink flame of divine love, just seeing that pink flame in your heart. And I'm breathing out the pink flame of divine love out into your auric field around you. We're going to go a little deeper now, breathing into, I am the all-consuming flame of unconditional love. So just breathing into that, I'm the all-consuming flame of unconditional love. And I'm breathing out, I'm the all-consuming flame of unconditional love. We're going to do that one again. I'm the all-consuming flame of unconditional love. Breathing out, I'm the all-consuming flame of unconditional love. And start to notice how it's changing the molecular structure of your body. Like if you're sensitive to energy, and even if you're not, you might start to notice that your energy field is becoming lighter. Your thoughts are becoming more clear. Your nervous system's, parasympathetic. Your whole nervous system is starting to become more harmonized, that you're creating coherence between your head and your heart. You're stepping out of your emotional reactions and your thought forms and coming back into balance and a centeredness of your inner spirit, inner energy. So just noticing that for a moment, just a little bit of breathing and calling in this one particular angel and this all-consuming flame of unconditional love. Now, I do want to talk a little bit more about the flame of unconditional love. So in that energy, I am is your I am statement. So you're literally engaging your I am presence. And I am presence is like the power part of you. So your higher self is like the wisdom part of you. It sees the vision, sees the plan, gives you kind of the blueprint for life or a project or anything you're working on. Your soul energy, your soul consciousness is more the feeling tone. It's where you drop in and it's like, okay, this is the vision that I want to create in my life. And this is the feeling tone of how I would feel living that way. So now you're putting your love behind it. Right. And then the third thing you do to create like a permanent atom or a blessing ball or whatever you're doing to manifest is you call into that divine presence, source energy, I am presence. And it's literally like making the assumption, in a sense, I am this energy, this perfect path, this financial goal, this energy, right? So it's where divine power, divine source, you can let go of the how and the when, but you just have faith knowing that that spirit energy is going to come in like a divine intervention or a synchronicity of miracles and start lining up whatever you're truly putting your energy into, your life force into. So with that energy, then again, just breathing in, I am, the I am statement, calling forth your I am presence, the all consuming, which means that this flame of light is going to start consuming anything less than unconditional love, any negative thought forms, experiences, health issues, financial things, anything like that, right? So I am the all consuming, meaning that it's instantly starting to create lots of this like little vortex of energy around you where it is literally consuming all negativity, fear, discord, human effluvia that may not be in alignment with, in this case, unconditional love. So I'm the all consuming flame. The flame is like a ray of light that's being activated in your energy field. So it's igniting, it's active. All consuming flame of unconditional love. So on the planet, we're learning a lot about conditional love and unconditional love, right? So some souls are born onto the planet that might be service oriented, more heart centered. They've learned a lot of life lessons, whether it's been in this world or other dimensions, about unconditional love. And so they've already got that very developed in their energy field. Um, Conditional love, which is what we do learn a lot from in this world, is karmic. It's action reaction. It's good or bad, right or wrong. Uh, you know, in karma, you get to push against something to learn about the contrast of it. And in the contrast, you learn something, you get to make a good decision for yourself that's more loving, more in alignment. And then from there, you come more into your dharma, which is where unconditional love happens, right? So some souls are born into the planet really still in very conditional love, and they haven't actually learned a lot about unconditional love yet, and they're learning. Then some souls are born with unconditional love very intact, um, and they're trying to be of service with that, and sometimes might feel taken advantage of, or not in a good position with people who are more conditional. It can be kind of hurtful or upsetting for people that deal with unconditional love. They don't understand why everybody else isn't being more unconditional and more of service like they are. So again, it kind of creates this big contrast with everybody that's happening. And so this whole call is really going to be about love and kind of fine tuning our energy in a more loving path, loving energy for ourselves, the world, and each other, particularly since we're coming into these new earth frequencies on the planet, which are going to be more love related. So we're increasing our emotional intelligence today with the flame of divine love. So I am the all-consuming flame of divine love. What it does is when you say it, and you just have to kind of say it a few times and sink into it, what it will do is, the first thing I noticed when I started practicing it is I noticed this field of light, maybe even about 21 feet around me, 10 feet, whatever. This field of light got created around me. And no matter who I was around or what I was doing, I felt like this sense of feeling protected in this bubble of light that is unconditional loving energy. So it's a very protective energy, right? The second thing that happened was I started noticing how incredibly unconditionally loved I am. I don't have to do anything. And I feel this amazing sense of unconditional love coming in for myself from this higher power straight into me. I don't have to do anything for it. So that's super healing. And then what happens is when you start to get in touch with this unconditional love, then you get to be a vehicle for it, or an instrument, a vibration of it in the world around you. And other people start feeling influenced by it. And you can be unconditionally honest with your own feelings, your own truth, in a way that is loving and kind and compassionate versus any way that might be reactive or hurtful to other people. So it's like you standing in your own soul truth when you're standing in that flame of unconditional love. So just breathing into that energy again. I'm the all-consuming flame of unconditional love. And just sitting with that energy, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in just a moment. We're going to go a little bit deeper into this and start unraveling some issues around blame, sarcasm, looking at how to be an adult in a relationship. We're going to pull some angel cards and continue working with Archangel Chamuel. So stay tuned. Welcome back. I am Adrienne with My Wild Magic with Adrienne, and we are Transformation Talk Radio today. And we are in the awesome month of February, Valentine's month. Whether you love it or hate it, it is really a big month for divine love coming in. And today we're working with Archangel Chamuel, the pink flame of divine love. We are looking at kind of raising our emotional intelligence, having some spirit hacks, some things I can kind of teach you about that are going to help us to maintain more of a presence in our heart, to be more compassionate, kind to ourselves as well as others, with the help of some angelic wisdom here and some wisdom that's been shared along the way with us. So what we were just talking about is the all-consuming flame of unconditional love. And I love using this, particularly if you work with clients in any way, or people that you have to deal with at work, or family members, people, any kind of situation where you might find you're a little bit more, maybe a little bit more vulnerable around, or not really sure how to handle something. Again, I'm the all-consuming flame of unconditional love. Now, I like really starting my day with that. So when I wake up, I have a whole meditation I do, but that's one of the things I bring in. So I set my tone first thing in the morning with that I am statement. I'm the all-consuming flame of unconditional love. Then as I'm moving through things, if I start to feel myself being reactive, or maybe uncomfortable with somebody or something, or you feel somebody's pulling your energy, or you feel like somebody is combative, power struggling, have addiction issues, entity issues, you have anxieties, you have depressions, anything like that, this is a great one to do. And it will immediately bring you into your heart, and it brings you into that tube of pure white light that kind of enfolds us. So again, I'm the all-consuming flame of unconditional love. So super awesome resource. I highly recommend using it. It's great throughout the day. It's also good to do before you go to bed, and it will help to start qualifying your dream time, qualifying when you're out of your body, or if you're unconscious, it's just simply processing your day and you're going through a lot of emotions. That unconditional love will give you a much better, safer way to kind of relate to your unconscious as well, because you've set yourself up in like a cocoon of unconditional love. So it actually helps you process stuff in your sleep time as well. Um, Babies, children, plants, really love it. If you're on an airplane, if you are in a public venue and you go into I'm the all-consuming flame of unconditional love, it sends out a radiance of that around you, and you literally become like a living blessing to all of life. So that's kind of a nice thing, just to walk through this world knowing you're being kind of a living blessing to all of life. All right, so we're going to swing back around again with Archangel Chamuel. Again, just call it in. We're going to practice with this a few times, right? So I'm the all-consuming flame of unconditional love. I'm calling forth Archangel Chamuel, coming in and around me, and just feeling this beautiful angelic presence coming in around you, bringing forth a sense of comfort and harmony, grace. Okay, now this angel is also, as it turns out, the angel for abundance. So when you are dealing with financial issues and stuff like that, uh, the more you kind of sink into knowing you already are loved, and that kind of energy, it creates an abundance frequency to you, right? So Archangel Chamuel, that particular prayer is, I'm calling forth Archangel Chamuel to bless me in the law of 3 times 3. So it's 3 times 3, magical numbers, right? And it deals with love, adoration, and gratitude. So to bless me with the all-consuming flame, law of 3 times 3 of divine love, adoration, and gratitude. So what you have is you've got your divine love being generated from your own heart. Adoration is something that maybe you adore something, you adore somebody. Adoration is an energy that kind of moves out of you, to enfold something that maybe you want to create or manifest. And then gratitude is the return circuit of that energy coming back into your energy field, and on that return circuitry of love or above energy. So now you've got Archangel Chamuel, please enfold me in the law of 3 times 3, the law of abundance of divine love, adoration, and gratitude, that all of my needs are met ahead of time, even before I need it, in perfect alignment, perfect timing, perfect harmony, and just giving things that's done. So that's another way that the flame divine love can be used in this case. Okay. So we've called in some cool frequencies of energy. And for some people, their heart center is highly developed, and they actually do work with the flame of divine love being one of their power flames, one of the chakras they've highly activated through lifetimes worth of wisdom. So for anybody out there who this is one of your power flames, one of your soul attributes that you have highly developed, compassion, divine love, super loving being, that kind of thing, this will be another frequency to call in, and you'll find that it will amplify your soul gift. If it's not one of your power flames, an energy that maybe you're wanting more of, it will also help to call that energy in and to start streamlining it. I find it's very useful for people who are healers, because healers and empaths tend to give a lot of energy. And so when you start calling in the flame of divine love for yourself, or to be present with it, it will kind of start balancing out your any kind of codependent issues, and wherever you might have a tendency to overgive, and start balancing out so that you're putting yourself in the frequency of your own life. Because empaths and people who overgive, overcare, tend to get all their energy out. And I had somebody teach me this weekend who was telling me about, there's this thing where a lot of time people who might be very needy of energy, extrovert people, like we're all born with, let's say we wake up in the morning with 5 coins in our pocket, and people who might be, on one level of energy go to bed, and they go to bed with extra coins in their pocket. They know how to kind of receive or even take other people's coins, right? And then there's this other side of the people. Maybe they're introverted, maybe they are empathic, maybe they're more on that side. They go to bed with less coins in their pocket. So even though we may not want to focus on taking other people's coins per se, it's nice to at least go to bed if you are highly empathic or introverted or on that side of the energy, to at least go to bed being more aware. So working with the flame of divine love, Archangel Chamuel, doing things that really feel most loving for you in a day, asking the question, I wonder what's most loving for me in this moment, immediately turns your energy around. So if you happen to be somebody who overgives in your energy, your love, etc., start putting this into the energy field. I wonder what's most unconditionally loving for me in this moment. And you listen to that. Maybe it's, you drink more water. I want broccoli instead of spinach. I want to call this person. I don't want to call this person. So you start listening to your own heart energy, because your heart's wisdom is actually more intelligent than your brain wisdom. I wonder what's most unconditionally loving for this moment. So let's practice with this for a moment. And I want you just to think about something in your life that you're practicing with, or that maybe you have a question about. Right. And just get that in your mind's eye. I wonder what's most unconditionally loving for me in this moment. And you want to drop into your heart. You're breathing into your heart. So you're putting your focus here instead of your head. So you get out of your head. I'm breathing into my heart. I'm breathing out of my heart. I'm the all-consuming flame of unconditional love, calling forth Archangel Chamuel to enfold me. These are all things that will boost this energy in your heart, create clarity. Okay. And then I want you to ask, based on whatever it is you're thinking about, I wonder what's most unconditionally loving for me in this situation. And just noticing how whatever is most loving for you when you breathe into it, it actually feels like balance. Like there'll be this harmonic energy to it. Like you're really in universal flow. When you figure out what's unconditionally loving for you, it puts you in unconditional, uh, that unified field, universal flow, the middle path, harmonious perfection, divine balance in all areas of your being, coherence between you and your divine presence. So it creates this beautiful field of energy. And then what happens is people around you, because you're now doing something that's unconditionally loving for you, there's nothing to power struggle about. There is no argument, because you see it's your truth. And when you tell somebody something from your soul truth, they hear it, and oftentimes they just accept it. When you try telling somebody something you want or you need or you don't want to do, and you're not in your heart, you're more in your reaction or your unconscious issue, they're going to want to power struggle. They're going to want to pull on your energy. They're going to want to question you, maybe make you wrong or judge you. But from your heart, for one, you actually don't care what they're going to do, because you're solid in yourself. And second of all, I find that people simply hear the truth, and people's souls are resonant to truth. No matter how flipped out our personalities get day in and day out and reactive, when you tell somebody the truth, even if they don't like what you're saying, they tend to be more at peace with it, and they will come into balance and honor it very quickly, usually. So I find a lot of people who are highly empathic and healers, they don't like conflict. They don't want to create problems. They don't want to be a burden. And so to tell somebody the truth of how they feel is one of the harder things to do. So when you breathe into, what's most unconditionally loving for me, it's going to train you to be way more loving to yourself than judgmental on yourself, so that you're not being controlled or manipulated by guilt or shame. But second of all, it will help you to start creating healthy boundaries, and also able to keep a firm boundary with people who you might find might be more demanding in the energy. So when we come back, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to start looking at how blame is like a cocaine for the brain. and the effects that sarcasm has on us. Um, so as we're going into some of these elements of love, we're going to look at some of the shadow side of what happens with people too. So stay tuned. We'll be back in just a moment. Hey, welcome back. I'm Adrienne. Thanks for being on the show today. So we have been working with Archangel Chamuel, calling the flame of divine love. That energy has been working with us, where you're listening to the show now or later. That angel will instantly come in and start helping you, working with you. And what we're kind of going into now is, we've looked at some resources to really sustain yourself in your heart, the power of divine love, some things you can do to really hold that flame of energy around you so that you're actually creating a more loving life for yourself. Because a lot of people, they want something they don't have. They want a relationship that's better suited for them, or the one that they have to be better, or they want a better home or a better job, or their kids to be better, or whatever. So a lot of times we're oftentimes wanting something outside of us to be more loving to us or in our life, more supportive and whatever, which is cool. You know what I mean? It's just that as you are wanting something, usually it's because you don't feel like you already have it. So what we're kind of working on today is, how can you establish knowing that you are deeply, divinely, unconditionally loved beyond measure, and using, kind of some of these tools of knowing I am the all-consuming flame of unconditional love. Because you see, the minute you know that for yourself, I don't need you to be something for me. I don't need you to do something for me. Because in our very essence of human being, we really just want to be loved. I don't think our greatest fear actually is of death, even though that's what a lot of people say. It's not of stage fright. It's not of flying in airplanes. Um, I think it has more to do with, are we loved? You know what I mean? I think on a deep soul level, it comes more down to that than anything. It's our greatest sort of mastery and our greatest Achilles heel. So when you start waking up in the day, qualifying your day, and maybe before you go to bed and throughout the day, that you already are deeply divinely loved, and staying connected to source energy and bringing down that cosmic force of pure love and light through your body to the heart of the earth and back up to your heart. These are just a few things that you can do to stabilize the field of divine love within you, because your heart's like a magnet. And so the more you know yourself as love, you're going to walk through the world with greater integrity. You're going to be able to walk through the world on your own terms, living life on your own terms, and not having to sell yourself out, compromise, overgive, etc. And that higher wisdom of divine love instantly will just start guiding you. And you'll find that each and every day you're being guided in your divine plan every single day you wake up, so that you're at the right time, right place, right people, open to miracles, seeing things that you hadn't seen before. Your life is actually unfolding better than you could have imagined possible. And the great news is, you don't have to do a darn thing about it. You're actually just focused on the love itself. The love has its own intelligence, um, that guides you. You see what I mean? So it's almost like the more you focus on that love streaming through you, in you, and around you as being your main sort of mantra throughout the day, your main focus, your main intention, then everything else starts to come into resonance to you, instead of you having to change yourself to prove yourself to others that you are lovable. So it totally reverses that cycle, which is awesome. And so now we're going to get into, I want to talk a little bit about how we get out of balance, some of the ways that we lose ourselves that are super bad habits that we tend to have developed over time. One of them is blame. So came across this really awesome article that somebody sent me. It's called "Why Blame is the Cocaine of Relationships." You can look that up online. "Why Blame is the Cocaine of Relationships." It is by Katie and Gay Hendricks, who do a lot in terms of teaching relationship workshops and things like that. So I'm just going to read the article because it's well written, and it's their article. So, did you know that blaming your partner or people can actually become an addiction? It's a habit you and your partner or people in your life can get hooked on, and one that slowly drains the vital energy from your relationship. That's why we call blame the cocaine of relationships. It may even be more dangerous because we often don't know we're doing it, and we definitely don't realize how bad it is for our bodies and souls. It works even faster than cocaine, creating an instant jolt in our bodies that is covering up the real issues. It feels good in the moment, but its self perpetuating cycle makes it impossible for intimacies and connection to happen. So here's how it works. Addictions are ineffective coping mechanisms. When you engage in overeating, gambling, excessive spending, or any type of drug addiction, alcohol addiction, work addiction, anything, several things are at play. First, the addiction serves as a distraction. You're numbing out and not being present in the moment in an attempt to avoid facing the real underlying issue, which I feel a lot of times is that we just feel insecure and unlovable at our very core. And then we play out all these weird issues along the way. At the same time, you get a rush of adrenaline every time you engage in any kind of addiction. The stress hormone adrenaline is secreted in your body when you feel strong emotions such as anger, triggering the fight or flight response, and your body is then fired up to notice that that feels good because you get this jolt of adrenaline. The problem with adrenaline is that it makes you feel alive, but only for a short while. Adrenaline also is very corrosive to your nervous system and elements of your organs and your liver. So it can actually be very corrosive uh, in your body as well. So once the feelings wear off, it's back to being down again, face to face with the underlying demons of whatever you're trying to avoid, which I'm going to go with this one being unlovability. You need a fast and powerful fix, in a sense, to kind of stay out of that uncomfortable emotion, or the demons, the unlovability or inadequacies, feel like they are going to eat you alive. So you engage in more addiction, creating a vicious cycle that ultimately results in more pain. What is blame addiction covering up in your relationship? Blame takes on a very similar pattern in intimate relationships. When you blame somebody you love, somebody you're around, your partner, whoever, you temporarily take the focus off of yourself and you throw it out onto the other person. So you're projecting onto them. Instead of taking responsibility for your part in the situation, you create a distraction and a very effective one. Blame is the ultimate cop out. Engaging in blame creates intense feelings, but not the good kind. Just like a traditional addiction, the need for blame escalates and starts to overtake our thinking. But something else is also happening, and it's a profound revelation. Conflict creates a spike in adrenaline. Blame actually works faster than cocaine because in less than a second, your body is infused from inside. When both partners engage in blame, it can serve as a substitute for whatever is lacking in the relationship. Emotional intimacy, sexuality, authentic heart connection. Engaging in blame creates intense feelings, but not the good kind. Rather than coming to solve a problem, you point fingers at each other and try to earn the position and rush a feeling of being right. So, a lot of times for some people, they'd rather be right than be loved. And arrogance can sometimes really get in our way with that one. So, your senses are all fired up just as they are when you're making love or in some kind of addiction, but they are senses in opposition rather than harmony. So again, that fight gives us a sense of connection. It's almost as if we're connected when you're blaming somebody, fighting with somebody, power struggling with somebody. It's a way that we feel connected to someone, but it's not a healthy kind, right? So there's no harmony to it. It's just, I'd rather fight with you than make love with you. I'd rather fight with you than have an authentic conversation with you or have authentic connection. So you're trying to replace the joyful feelings of love, connection, and intimacy with the destructive adrenaline of fighting, frustration, power struggling, and pain. And it's just, at some point, it just becomes actually just a choice. We have to use our free will. Blame becomes our drug until we quit it, cold turkey. We become slaves to it, and our relationship will never, if we become slaves to our relationships, never flourish. So, how to get from drama of conflict to the flow of connection? Blame can be a difficult emotion or addiction to break, especially without the right roadmap. It took them several years to figure out how to end blame and criticism in our relationship once and for all. Once they did it, they realized the profound amounts of positive energy and vitality that replaced it. You will literally have more life force energy when you're not, see, because when you blame somebody, you're sending your life force energy out, not in a good way, but you're sending energy out and you're losing life force energy. So blaming someone actually harms you and it harms the other person. It's not It gives us the illusion that we're more powerful in the moment. Like if I blame you, I'm right. Therefore, I hold all the cards. I'm more powerful. You can't take my power from me, that kind of thing. But in truth, it's actually an illusion. That's demise. So what couples don't realize is that adrenaline, which drains and depletes you, is very different from the flow or harmonizing hormones secreted when we are loving and feeling loved. And these hormones, unlike adrenaline, can be renewed and built time on and again. Uh, our help, our work helps these harmonizing hormones. So you can go to the Gay Hendricks and all that and sign up for their workshop on how to stop the blaming cycle, good communication techniques, conflicts that you might have over money, feeling like a victim, making your love last, feeling deeply appreciated. So this now becomes kind of like a sell pitch for their relationship stuff, which by all means, definitely sign up for if you are interested. And that will be for Gay Hendricks, and you can look it up. Why blame is the cocaine of relationships. So if you wanted more information, please go there for sure. But another way of dealing with it is by treating yourself with respect, really being unconditionally loving with yourself. And as long as you're able to do that, you're able to be unconditionally honest with somebody else. And you no longer need to blame somebody because you're afraid of how inadequate you feel or afraid that love is going to be taken from us. So I want you to just think about for a moment that energy, any place where you may be blaming somebody or somebody is blaming you. Just tap into that with any relationship. It's like a big ball of energy. So it doesn't matter who you pick right now. And I want you to notice how it feels in your body. You're either blaming or you're being blamed or both. Just noticing maybe the heaviness, the hardship it feels on your heart. We're going to call in that source energy, pure love and light to delete, uncreate, destory, and etherealize any negativity, fear, discord, human effluvia, any blame addictions that are in our energy field throughout all time, space, dimension, and realities, calling in Archangel Chamuel and the flames of divine love, coming and bringing higher conscious awareness, high truth, that frequency of divine love coming back into your heart center, clearing any corrosion of adrenaline in your energy field, freeing up any cording, any blame, any projections, clearing your energy field with the all-consuming flame of unconditional love, divine love, on all levels, giving thanks as is done, and so it is as an angelic blessing, divine intervention, helping to clean this up on all levels. Okay, so letting that integrate, and we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in just a moment to go a little deeper into this. Hey, welcome back again. We are talking about divine love and all of its different aspects, the beauty of divine love, the dark side of our human love, and everything in between. So we were just kind of wrapping up there, talking about how blame is like a cocaine in the brain when it comes to when we choose to blame one another, and to really practicing just staying in your own wheelhouse. What's most unconditionally loving for me, and then sharing that. Whatever's unconditionally honest with the other person without blaming yourself or blaming them, it will bring so much more ease in your life. The other thing that I would say when it comes to blame that I find is a really healing way to manage it is like for me being a very high empath, if I feel like I've harmed somebody, hurt somebody, sometimes I may not always tell them exactly what's going on for me or how I feel because I don't want to upset them. And then if I don't, that creates more problems, right? And then I feel like I have to do something to make it up to them, right? So one thing I have found that's so helpful is that I actually may not be that upset with the other person. I may not really even be blaming them or upset. I'm just upset that they're upset with me. So a shortcut to that is I am choosing to be at peace with you. So no matter what that other person has going on, maybe they're blaming me, maybe they're upset, maybe they're caught in their own inner child story or projection. When I choose to be at peace with somebody who I find is maybe upset with me for whatever reason, and obviously it usually is a projection because that's what we all do, it instantly makes me feel better. And what I've noticed is the people who I have chosen to be at peace with, they have come back around a whole lot quicker. And then there is peace and the relationship grows. If they don't come back around, that's okay too. That just, they may not be ready. I may not be ready, whatever. It just may not be in alignment for us, right? And that could be healthy to let it go. but I am choosing to be at peace with my choice, with that experience, with my childhood, with my parents, with that ex-partner, with this person I've worked with. Just practice that. It's an amazing, very freeing gift to decide inside yourself, I am at peace with whatever it is. So if you're blaming yourself or feel others are blaming you, I am at peace with whatever that is. Okay, now this is sort of one of the next things that we sometimes tend to do in the energy, and it can be to misuse our energy with sarcasm. So blame is one whole element here, and sarcasm is sort of in one of the other negative emotions. So this is a pretty cool book. It's called a friend gave me this. It's 365 Days of Self-Love. I highly recommend it, especially as it does sort of start in January. Um, but you can start it whenever you want. And why not now? There is no better time than the present, right? So what it does is it goes through and it gives you every day, you get one, it's like usually 2 pages. It's just, you just read like this 1, 2 page, and it's people from all over the world who have had some personal experience that they felt was helpful for them around self-love. So this is one that I thought was really pretty fascinating, right? So it's in Sarcasm, and it's by Iwa Blazak, and it is so this is what they said about it. Sarcasm is the opposite of love, an underestimated vicious poison which ruins our self-esteem, our relationships, effectiveness of our work teams, creativity, and impacts our immune system. If you want to understand what sarcasm is, you should watch any random episode of Doctor House, which is, I don't know, just a show on TV, a series. It might even be called House. I don't know. Anyway, it's a Doctor House. And this is one line from it. So here is just one of the epic quotes from the main character in that series. And notice how you feel when I read this, okay? Somewhere out there, there is a tree. There is a tree tirelessly producing oxygen for you. You owe it an apology. It's like, whoa, that's like a deep sting there, right? So he's using sarcasm, which is kind of his quality, I think, on the show. Not a quality, but it's a way that he interacts, right? So it says, sarcasm hurts. It makes you feel small and irrelevant and ridiculous. It causes the worst toxins ever, shame. And here is the worst part of it, is that the most harmful sarcasm is usually the one we feed ourselves. Like we can be sarcastic like about ourselves or about life as well. Sarcasm is triggered by our reptilian brain, so a lower aspect of our underdeveloped lack of emotional intelligent part of our brain. So and what it does is it's based on the primitive mode that tells us attack in order to survive. So a lot of times when people are being sarcastic, it's sort of like a porcupine. They're attacking you first in order to try to protect or save themselves. But again, that's kind of an illusion. It just sort of makes everything worse. So in today's world, we add humor to cover up the fact that we treat others with contempt and want to hurt them. So communication expert John Gottman, PhD, proved that there are 4 main communication toxins which ruin our relationships. These are blaming, which we just spoke about, defensiveness, stonewalling, which means you just shut down communication and refuse to communicate and just block the person, and then contempt, which includes sarcasm. They have been scientifically proven to be the best and predictors of a divorce. And guess what? Sarcasm and other forms of contempt are the most destructive of them all. So sarcasm is so harmful. And this is why I thought the article was so amazing, right? Sarcasm is so harmful because it combines hostility and humor. When someone attacks you with hostility, your reptilian brain should be fighting. It should be saying, hey, that's not okay to treat me that way. That hurts, right? But with the humor, covering the hostility makes you smile. So, which triggers a physiological reaction overriding the self-defense system. So it really tricks the brain in a very cruel way. So you get punched in the face and smile at your aggressor. So, and then the suppressed emotions that you actually do feel that you don't feel like you have a right to stand up for them, actually erode your immune system. Obviously self-esteem, but it erodes your immune system too. So communication toxins are proven to be predictors of how many infectious illnesses you're going to have in the next 4 years, on top of that the relationship most likely will not last and for sure won't be happy. So these are 4 questions they want you to ask. Do you use sarcasm to shame yourself? Is the environment you live and work sarcastic? If you use sarcasm, check your intention underpinning the words. Do you want to give a negative feedback to somebody, honestly, or is it just that you feel goofy and playful and just choose to end sarcasm? Be true to yourself and use your words with kindness. And then number 4 is speak up when someone is overusing the sarcastic language in your presence. When we name sarcasm for what it is, we take away its power. Drive the conversation back on a constructive track by saying, I've noticed sarcasm, but let us focus on the issue at hand. So there's some things you can do. So I just think that those 2 articles are really powerful, particularly with how much people kind of maybe out of touch with their feelings. There's a lot of conversations at this day and age about people with narcissism, things like that, which is really just a way of saying that people are not in connection to themselves. So the way we want to bring this all back around again is to come back into alignment with your own heart, your own heart's wisdom. So some books that I find, or some teachers that I really like, one of my favorite teachers on love is Thich Nhat Hanh, and the Vietnamese Buddhist monk. And he wrote this cool little book. He actually has a whole series of these little books, like How to Connect, How to Walk, and How to Love is one of my favorites. And so How to Love by Thich Nhat Hanh. And cute little book. And I just read 1 page a day so I can really take it in. And he teaches a lot about that. Another one is by David Richo, and it's How to Be an Adult in Relationships. So it's How to Be an Adult in Relationships, the 5 Keys to Mindful Loving. And then another book that I would recommend is Real Love by Greg Baer, Baer. Now, there is a woman who wrote a similar book, but this is Real Love by the guy, Greg Baer. And he really teaches so much about unconditional love. So those are some great resources to come full circle. And then to end our talk today, I pulled one of the angel cards from the Angelic Messenger cards by Meredith Young Sowers. And it was the 22 card for purpose. So we're just going to align for a moment, calling in that beautiful Archangel Chamuel, overlighting us in bringing us into a higher illumination and enlightenment around divine love on our soul's journey today, calling into the angelic messenger card, the angel of divine purpose of this higher love. So divine purpose for higher love, opening you up to that flame of divine love within your own heart, that divine freedom that's there, the freedom to love freely, to receive love. And we're going to end on the note of gratitude. I'm so grateful, knowing that I'm deeply, divinely, unconditionally loved without beyond measure, connected to my own higher presence. And so it is. So thank you so much for joining me today. And may you have a wonderfully loving rest of your day and this beautiful month of February. Okay. See you next week. Thanks for tuning in to My Wild Magic with me, your host, Adrienne Cobb. Each one of us has a soul purpose on this earth and a higher purpose full of creative expression and unique soul attributes. Make sure to tune in next week on transformationtalkradio.com to continue your journey home to your truest self and pursue the path of unconditional self-love. If you would like to learn more about me, visit mywildmagic.com. Again, that's mywildmagic.com.